Where every day business is a big day, let Comcast Business help you move forward with what's next. Our man Jeff McLane joins us. Jeff, good morning, brother.
Hey, guys. How are you?
We're good. I'm sure you were very busy yesterday. There's a lot to get into, so let's get right to it. Nick Serriani gets the contract extension. We were all kind of waiting for it to happen because he only had the final year of his deal left. Let's just talk a little bit about the success of Nick Serriani and your reaction to him getting the extension.
Yeah, I mean, not really a surprise at all. They weren't going to let him go into the last year of his deal without an extension. They don't want to have a lame duck coach, especially one that just won a Super Bowl. And, Jeffrey Lurie intimated as much that something was going to be announced soon. So, it was just a matter of when and how long and how much. We don't know the latter two parts of that. They said multi-year extension. My guess is 3-4 years, something like that. Trying to dig up a little more on that. And then I guess the other question is how much. It's got to be as much as any other coach. The top guys are getting paid, so you're thinking double digits per year in the millions, 10 to 12 possibly. So well compensated and rightfully so. Nick has been in the playoffs in all 4 years that he's been the coach. He's been in the Super Bowl in 2 of the last 3 and won the last one. That just last October, after they started 2-2 and coming off what happened at the end of the 2023 season, there was some question about his future. But, I think Nick showed his value, his strengths with how the Eagles played from that point onward, and the rest is history.
Steve Weiss sat down with us at the Super Bowl and talked to us about just his perception that he gets from other coaches that they think about Nick Sirianni. What do you believe is Nick Sirianni's perception among his peers in the NFL?
I think he's highly respected. I don't, I don't think he should care about that, or anybody should really care about that.
Not that he cares, but do you think he's well liked? Do you think he's one of the boys?
Well, I mean, I think he's rubbed some guys the wrong way on occasion. Just the way he kind of has acted on the sidelines at certain points. There's been times when guys have been the other head coaches have been, on the receiving end of Nick's explosions, his temper. So I don't know how that goes over sometimes in the histrionics and that kind of stuff. But Nick is kind of got two sides to him. So when he is not in compete mode, he definitely is. It almost does a 180, and I think that's probably where the coaches see more of that side of him. So I think in terms of personal relationships and that kind of stuff, I think he's respected in terms of what he's done. I mean, again, it's just hard to argue with the record.
Credit to you, Jeff. You broke the news about Joe Douglas returning to the Philadelphia Eagles yesterday. What went into it? What was the reason? I know he was on the sideline for one of the playoff games, so clearly this has probably been in the works for a while, but you're reporting on the return of Joe Douglas.
Yeah. Look, he came during, I guess, the late season game. I mean, I don't think that really they were working on anything at that point. In fact, Joe was, he's still technically under contract. He was at that time. Not that he couldn't come as a guest and be there. But, I kind of picked up something earlier in the off season, possibly that Joe, I don't even know if this is true or not, that Joe was doing some pre-draft work I knew he was doing it for some team. I'm not entirely sure if it was for the Eagles or not. Just, scouting players, helping out with the college draft process. But then I picked up more intel on the fact that, Joe is back in the building, and they had some losses this offseason already. Brandon Hunt got what I guess could be deemed a promotion to go to the Raiders, although he was kind of passed over the last time they changed the titles. So I think they like Brandon, but I think they viewed Brandon probably not as a fit here. And I think Brandon probably saw, the writing on the wall in terms of his possibilities to become a GM. It was kind of, certainly not here, but just in terms of the path that you want to take to become a GM. I think he probably need to take another step here, and that was probably not possible. There's a couple guys ahead of him in several respects. And then Anthony Patch, longtime Eagles director of college scouting. I mean, that to me was the bigger, more surprising loss because Anthony's been here for a long time. He's one of Howie Roseman's most trusted aides. So you lost two key guys, and you lost also a national scout as well. So that played a part in it as well. They have one former GM on staff, and Dave Caldwell. He's a senior scouting director. I don't know, whatever, advisor to the GM. He's got like 7 titles. But Joe, kind of, to me, I think, I don't know exactly what the title is going to be. It's a senior scouting role. I think it's going to be kind of like what Tom Donahoe was here. If you guys recall, Tom Donahoe was a long time GM for the GM and title for the Steelers and for the Bills, and had been here a long time, and had his voice carried weight here with Howie. Maybe until the end, we are kind of all know what happened, at least publicly. Privately, I think Tom was increasing on the outs in terms of how they were viewing how they wanted to do things inside the building. But I think it's good to have someone with a lot of experience. Joe fits in very well with the group that they have there. Some of them are leftovers from when he was here. Some, he knows obviously from around the horn, and obviously the key relationship was between him and Howie, and those guys are kind of like Mutt and Jeff, to some extent. And wrote about it exclusively, extensively, just about how Howie's like a morning guy, Joe's a night guy. They would kind of like, when digging in. How he would start, and then he kind of handed off to Joe, and Joe would finish, and they really played awfully well, each other well, and certainly, as we all well know, they won a Super Bowl in 2017.
How much of do you think it's going to be a sort of take this and shove it revenge tour for the Eagles on some of these teams like the Packers and the Rams that obviously trying to ban this tush push and otherwise, that they're going to take it personally?
Well, let's see what happens here these next few days, right? That's the big question heading into the owners' meetings, the spring meetings, which isn't really kind of as well covered as the one in late March, early April. But that's the key vote is going to be on the tush push. The Packers have amended the rule as written to kind of have a little more of their banning just pushing and pulling in general, not just specific to this play. That may help get it passed. The reasons that they state are for injuries, which there's yet to be any study that's kind of shown that the tush push has increased the likelihood of injury. And the other one was pace of play, and I'm not really sure if that carries much weight as well. So we'll see what happens, though. My sense is that this is something Roger Goodell wants, and he's got to get 8 more votes. It was pretty much split down the middle, 16-16. He needs 24 votes to get the rule to pass, and then if it passes, then I guess certainly I don't think you need any additional incentive for beating teams in the NFL, right? Let's say, given the opportunity, if they're beating them pretty good, and when you maybe put in your reserves, you leave in the starters maybe for a series longer. Maybe you do something like that. But it's tough enough to live in this NFL, to win in the NFL to worry about stuff like that.
Speaking of voting, Adam Schefter reporting this morning, early, right when we started the show, really, that he believes the league will vote for and allow players to participate in the 2028 Summer Olympics in flag football. How intense teams are with trying to protect their players. Obviously, training camp not as physical as it once was. I know flag football is flag football, but are you surprised that it seems to be heading toward that direction with the risks that come of it?
Well, I guess in terms of the NFL trying to expand its global reach and what they've done, certainly with the international games, that doesn't surprise me because this would be an opportunity to do that. But in terms of the practicality of it, or the players' willingness to do it, that kind of surprises me. That it's something that they'd want to do because it's not really football. It's again, the players play enough as it is. Are they going to really want to participate in this? I mean, I'm sure there will be some, but yeah, sure, why not? I mean, there's some other bogus sports at the Olympics. So when I have another one.
Yeah, we were talking about breakdancing earlier. Jeff, listen, man, we appreciate the time as always, brother. Keep up the great work. Great job yesterday. I know you were busy, so you earned the paycheck yesterday, Jeff.